a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Hey everybody, thank you for listening to yet another edition of For Light and Dice. In this episode, we go to Naboo where we return to our friends Lysander and Wynne. Let's see what they are up to. So, when last we left y'all, I have to reorient myself because I ran a whole different game with a different group of people. When last we left y'all, you were on Naboo. You had planned to go check out some museums. Ambassador Pola hasn't come by at all yet to come visit you at all, and the Jedi have left a couple hours ago. It's about dusk time, and you're noticing that there is a lot of commotion happening outside. If you look outside the windows, there are people setting up lanterns and paper symbols and sticking them all up on the light posts everywhere on the streets. And there's just a lot of activity of people putting up decorations everywhere.
Wynne flicks open their datapad and does a quick HoloNet search for Naboo Festival's paper lamp things.
You can make either a lore roll or investigation roll at advantage.
I will make a lore roll because I do have a bonus to that, and that's going to be an 18.
You recognize that they are setting up for the Naboo Festival of Lights, a festival that celebrates Naboo joining the Republic approximately 657 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hey, it's the Festival of Lights. For some reason, the Naboo want to celebrate joining the Republic. Can't imagine why. Reminds me of people celebrating their wedding anniversaries in miserable marriages.
Lysander kind of just looks at Wynne like, I mean, some people find joy in life.
Can't relate.
And then at that point, there is a knock upon your door, and it's like 3 light taps.
Do you want to get that, or?
Wynne shrugs and sets the datapad down on the table where they were sitting, get up, and they walk over, although their hand is twitching slightly, in the vague direction of their light blaster as they peep out to see who it is outside.
You see a well-polished silver face that looks like a protocol droid.
Wynne kind of shrugs and opens the door. Hello.
Hello, I am S1E31, Human Cyborg Relations.
Can we help you?
Yes, I have been sent here by Ambassador Pola.
Lucky you.
She apologizes for not being able to speak with you sooner, but she is currently with many dignitaries that are visiting Naboo for the festival.
I didn't realize the festival would be going on coincidentally with our arrival.
My programming does not allow me to understand coincidences.
Lucky you. Wynne steps aside and motions for the droid to come in.
Yeah, and they kind of wiggle in. You notice that the legs of this droid are kind of slower than even for a protocol droid, and it seems to be an older model.
I'm Wynne. This is Lysander. You probably knew that. One is around here somewhere. Where is one? I've had blissful silence for far too long.
You at that point hear the sounds of a vase crashing.
Oh.
And and one just zips by suddenly and stops and like floats over.
Hello? Did somebody say my name?
Did you break something? Actually, you know what? I don't know. I don't want to know.
I did.
Of course you did. Okay. Why did Ambassador Pola send you?
Oh, I have been informed that she feels guilty about not being able to meet with you sooner, and I am to recommend a particular event that you can attend with me.
Go on.
At that point, the protocol droid takes out a data pad, looks at it real quick, and then puts it away. I am to, I am to chaperone you to a special exhibit that is only being displayed right now for dignitaries and visitors of great importance. It is called the Artifacts of Jedha.
Ooh, artifacts from Jedha?
Wynne thinks for a minute, walks over, picks up their data pad and reattaches it to their belt, and then turns around and says, "Well, I wasn't doing anything else anyway."
Why
Yeah,
not?
let's go. Um, well, we were kind of just relaxing still after our long journey and still trying to decide where we wanted to go, so this is helpful.
I am glad to be of service to you.
I wonder if they have anything from the Battle of Jeddah. Wynne looks over at Lysander. I am very strongly considering doing this. It is almost as if this is specifically designed to pique my interest. And yet, it is still working on me.
Would you like for me to recite a lecture recently delivered at our university about the Battle of Jeddah? It is approximately 9 hours and 64 minutes.
No, that'd be okay.
Wynne almost looked like they might have said yes. Before
Yeah,
Lysander
Lysander kind of elbows him at that moment too, like, no, we do not want to hear a 9-hour lecture.
Well, I guess we're going to look at artifacts from Jeddah.
Yes.
Juan, will you be okay if you stayed here? I don't know if I trust you around artifacts.
One kind of hovers around and looks at you and just says,
What is trust?
Something that we are still working on with between us.
Collectively as a group.
I see. Well, if you can bring some trust back, that would be wonderful.
Okay. I'll bring you a nice sticker too, because I'm sure Gauze would want me to put stickers on you.
Q says hello.
Oh, okay. Were you communicating with two recently?
We speak to each other all the time.
Great.
Well,
great.
I hope 2 is having fun.
And then there's another voice.
Another voice?
Goodbye.
he floats away.
Okay. Yeah, let's just go to this exhibit. I don't want to think about what that could possibly mean right now.
That sounds like a good idea.
S77, who was standing there silently for a bit, says, "Your droid seems to be malfunctioning. Do you wish for me to call a repair team?"
Surprisingly, that's not malfunctioning. If it ever starts being coherent, then we will call a repair team.
I see.
Yeah, I
I
kind of
don't
like
understand.
him
I'm
like that.
sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but
Wynne claps S77 on the shoulder and says,
Oh.
"Don't worry about it. Shall we?" And they motion to the door.
S77 stops and kind of looks at the both of you and says, "This is a very special event where many of Naboo, I was going to say Naboobian, Naboo High Society,
Thanks, Bradley.
many of Naboo High Society, along with dignitaries from all over the galaxy, will be attending."
Wynne looks over at Lysander. "The droid's right. You should probably put on a cape."
what about you? Clearly this droid is saying that we lack fashion. So, actually, yeah, let's go shopping. Let's get some new outfits.
Wonderful. I know some perfect retail stores for you.
Okay, but on two conditions. One, I get to keep my belt with my data pad and everything on it. I'm not giving the data pad up. And two, we will never speak of this to Gauze. Outside of vague mentions that it happens. If she finds out that I went shopping and she wasn't allowed to harass me during it, I will never hear the end of it for the rest of our tenure on the Squonk.
Yeah, of course. I won't tell Gauze, Lysander says, with his fingers crossed behind his back. As if he isn't going to secretly take pics on his own data pad to send to Gauze in the group chat.
Alright, let's go find something presentable. Apparently my regular clothes aren't good enough for Naboo.
I'm so excited. Naboo fashion culture seems really, really cool.
I'm not sure if it's quite that cold outside, but it is considered to be of the best fashion sense in all the galaxy.
And Wynne walks towards the door.
Did I say something wrong?
No, he just... he lacks a funny bone. Let's go.
I wasn't being funny.
Yeah, I know. But you were. So...
Yeah, so S77 will waddle through the halls of the palace and guide you outside. And there are several clothing shops just in the main lobby area that are still open, even though it's nighttime. And when you do notice that there are many groups of people just standing around, just speaking and talking, it's almost dinner time, people are out and about. And one group of people in particular, kind of on the far end of the lobby, about 40 meters away or so, are dressed in blue uniforms with silver buttons and gold trim on the shoulders.
Now refresh my memory. Is that a Republic uniform? Is that a Bind Guild uniform?
That's a Bind Guild uniform.
Okay. Wynne kind of leans forward slightly and catches S77 by the shoulder and's like, you know what? I just remembered I'm allergic to front doors. Is there like a back door that we can use? Specifically one that takes us away from the other side of the lobby very quickly.
I'm sorry, I do not know of any back doors.
Any particularly large open windows?
Well, Naboo is famous for its large open windows,
Great.
along with its stained glass art, which was actually the standard starting 4 centuries ago.
Yeah, super fascinating. Are there any on the ground floor that could potentially be doors?
Oh, yes, right over here.
Awesome.
These doors, by the way, were created approximately two centuries ago, created by the artist Otto Crowley.
Wow, super fascinating. So here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna exit through the large window. We'll just
What?
We'll just leave you. Yeah, it's a cultural thing. It's a sign of respect or whatever.
For
I'm
what
very
culture?
familiar.
For the
I'm
squawk culture. I don't look. We're just not gonna go near the front of the lobby, okay?
I understand, sir.
I mean, I noticed, like, I assume Lysander notices Wynne is being really weird, but can I, like, roll to, like, look around to see if I can figure out what is making Wynne act so weird?
Make an insight roll.
Yeah, okay.
And also, I will remind you that Wynne did explicitly
I-
tell Lysander that they have a negative interaction with the Bind Guild.
Yeah, but I don't think Lysander knows
What
the
they might
Bind
look
Guild,
like.
like, uniforms, yeah. That's not good. Fuck. Where is my insight? I got a 7.
Yeah, Lysander Wynne's just being his usual weird self.
Well, you can go out the window.
Great, great. I'll do that. Here's what we'll do. I will go out the window as a sign of respect or whatever, and you two can go out the front, and I'll just meet you out front. Everybody sound good? I think that sounds great. I'm gonna do that now. And when slowly starts to open this large window and starts to crawl out of it.
No, okay.
Very well, Master Wynne. These Duros are quite unusual.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a Duros thing. I think it's just a him thing.
Wynne, can you make an acrobatics roll?
I would love to. Acrobatics 17.
Yeah, Wynne, you've done this before. You hop out through the window and slide down the wall, landing to the outside of the palace, nearby one of the clothing stores. And Lysander S77 will just take you by the crowd of people and walk outside. And he will meet up with Wynne and just gesture you all to the clothing shop. The sign in Urabesh on the outside reads Asterios clothing attire, and it is one of those. It's kind of like, you know, how in some stores in Beverly Hills, it's one of those places where there has to be an attendant that walks up and handles the clothing for you, and you know, and all that kind of stuff. And you see like big, luxurious dresses and suits and other sorts of attire that's appropriate for people with like multiple arms or no arms. You know, it's a place that services species of all shapes and sizes, and there are attendant droids there that will help you find clothing that is suitable. And S77 mentions to one of the droids, courtesy of the ambassador, the palace shall pay for their attire. And the service droids nod and will get you whatever you'd like.
So Wen kind of takes the opportunity while S77 is having this conversation to kind of pull Lysander aside and go, okay, so this is almost certainly part of that whole trying to lure out Captain Thess thing, that they definitely want us to be visible and in public. You're getting that too, right?
Lysander, who had been fully distracted because he loves a nice outfit, was just like, oh, yeah, I totally got that.
Hey, Tiny, when waves his hand in front of Lysander's face, I need like 2 minutes while the droid is distracted. Can you give me 2 minutes and then you can get a nice lavender cape?
Okay, what do you need?
Okay, so while we're there, we need to keep a lookout for anything that might potentially be broadcasting our location, and we're also looking for whatever happened with Captain Thess to make him hate the Naboo so much.
Okay.
The guy shows up, we need to know more about him.
You really think he'd show up here, though, when there's all these people in the Republic?
Wynn just gives Lysander a very long look and then says, you know he blew up a diner full of people,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Okay. Wynn flashes Lysander a thumbs up and takes a step back and looks around and, I'm more of an earth tones kind of Duros, you know, browns, crimsons, orange, like a dark orange, maybe like a, what is it, ochre? I don't know my colors. I could tell you, the last 180 odd Chancellors of the Republic, couldn't tell you the name of a color. Luckily, I didn't go to art school, which, considering I am unemployed anyway, may not have been a choice that actually mattered.
Yeah, you give off warm tones.
While you all are discussing this, you suddenly see one of the headpieces with many feathers on the top and jewels coming off the side suddenly floating by you all. And it turns around and you see one is wearing this headpiece. And it says to you all,
Does this make my power cufflinks look big?
One, what are you doing here?
I'm following you.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we worked that out, but thank you. Why are you following us exactly?
I don't know.
Okay. You know, one, that we're going to a fancy party area with lots
Ooh.
of fancy foreign dignitaries, and there will be lots of boring historical artifacts that you can't touch. So if you're gonna follow us, I need you to do two things for me. Don't touch any of the historical artifacts, and don't say anything that could potentially make a foreign dignitary very mad at us. Can you handle these two things?
I can't touch anything because I don't have hands.
You know what? I don't even know why I'm worried.
Do they have punch?
You can't even drink punch, so don't even worry about it.
I can bathe in it though.
I need you to understand something. Just don't interact with anyone but us. If you don't know that person, stranger danger. Do not talk to them. Just stay with us.
I will not talk to strangers.
Cool.
Wynne, who can already see how one is going to work their way out of this, just massages their large Duros forehead.
S77 walks up and looks over at one and just goes, "Oh my.
Don't worry about it.
Worrying is not part of my programming, sir."
You'd probably get along with one in really well.
Yes, one in, your crew member, he looks at the data pad. Yes, the assassin droid.
Huh?
No, definitely not. One in is a protocol droid, and also a jizz whaler. Definitely has not killed anyone to my knowledge, and as far as anyone else is concerned, definitely did not kill a guy and stuff his body in a trunk. That did not happen, and we're just gonna move on from here.
I
Oh,
feel
that-
like you're saying too much already.
Oh, that information is not in his dossier. That's interesting. I'll add it right now.
No, you don't have to do that because it's not true.
Yeah, well, it is that he definitely is not an assassin droid. Definitely a protocol droid and jizz whaler.
Well, Master Ambassador Pola does enjoy jizz.
Well, maybe she can ask him for a tune at some point. I'm sure he would gladly oblige. A lot. Not actually stopping. 4 days. Wynne looks a little perturbed by this, as if this is a thing that has happened. Which, if we recall the first arc, it is!
One says,
I can't talk to you, droid. You're a stranger.
and he flies away.
Yes, very
Oh.
good. Keep doing that.
But one's still wearing the headpiece.
No, You know what? We'll just bill that one.
S77 says, "Oh, don't worry, sir. The palace will take care of it."
Oh, good. All right. So I assume that they are gonna shop for their clothing.
Yeah, is there anything specific y'all are going to be trying to put on, or are you just saying you're going to have fancy clothing on?
So Wynne is opting for a very simple brown and crimson sort of attire with a vest and just a semi-formal shirt and slacks that allows them to continue to have their belt and data pad and light blaster still on it, but dressed up a little bit. So when let's get the simple one out of the way, and then we'll find out what Lysander was doing.
I would like to think Lysander looked around and was like, what is one of the fanciest things here?
I mean, it's Naboo, right? So if you can dream it, it's here, and all of it's over the top, very gaudy.
Yes.
If you want it to be.
Like, if you think of a really over the top, like, Disney prince, probably.
I am imagining Lysander with like this long purple cape with this sort of high collar to it, and like, I don't know, really fancy clothing on underneath. Ruffles. Definitely ruffles. I am definitely picturing ruffles.
Yeah. He was like, if this is my one chance to dress like Naboo royalty, then I'm going to take this one chance. Although I'd like to also think that underneath he is still wearing, like, any, like, belt or, like, wrist blaster. Also, just because he's like, he did remember Wynne being like, keep an eye out, even though he's just like, oh, everything's so fancy. Wait, Wynne said we have to...
I cannot wait to see the fan art of this. Fan artists, please come through.
Come through. Please draw Wynne and Lysander.
Please draw Wynne and Lysander's fancy clothes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you spend. By the way, any attire you pick, the droid attendants will make sure that it fits you correctly. They measure everything. They help you get dressed. It's one of those like super fancy dress up montages where you're standing in front of mirrors and you're making sure everything looks good at all angles. And one never returns. S77.
Oh, great.
S77 just kind of stands there patiently, and from time to time makes compliments towards you, like, "Oh, that looks wonderful. Oh, yes, excellent."
Once Wynne is satisfied with their attire, they kind of step out towards the front of the shop to wait for Lysander, who I assume is taking considerably longer.
Yeah. He definitely is. He definitely also has pulled out his own data pad and is recording little videos and being like, Gauze, you probably won't get this right away, but I wanted to show you my outfit.
Now, Wynne is going to take this opportunity while they are waiting, and S77 is preoccupied with Lysander. They are going to take this opportunity to try to do some searching on recent history in Naboo, specifically the relationship with the Gungans. But in such broad terms that anyone walking behind them would merely think that they're just researching random things on space Wikipedia.
Got it. You can make an investigation roll.
Yeah. It fell on the floor. It fell on the floor, but per my own personal rules, I must accept the roll, which is a 13.
So for the most part, the Gungans and the Naboo are very separate societies, and they keep to themselves. Except there was an incident a couple years ago where a group of Gungans became very xenophobic towards the Naboo, and in fact, the Naboo would consider them terrorists rather. They actually attempted to bomb a few transports. They attacked a few of the nobility class in Naboo, and they for the Gungans that weren't killed in the last attack they had, they were exiled. The rest of the Gungans denied any involvement with that. In fact, declared them to be dead to them, basically.
Interesting.
One Gungan name pops up that you recognize to be Rule Thest.
What was that first name?
Rule Thest.
R-U-L?
R-U-L.
Perfect.
Which you recognize to be the same Gungan.
Yes.
Yeah.
I recognize. Is all Wynne says about that.
So when you are done, S77 just says to the both of you, "Oh, you look splendid now. This way, the gathering has perhaps already commenced."
Wynne motions for S77 to lead the way.
And yeah, S77 begins to waddle down one of the larger and busier streets of Naboo. Again, the buildings around here are gorgeous. It's unparalleled to anything you've seen in the galaxy so far. The streets are also very busy with people. Most of the people are running around setting up for the festival, but you do notice that there are folks who are refugees staying in some of the nearby townhouses that have been set aside for them. There are still street carts that have food and other goods that they're selling, and as the sun sets, the sky turns a beautiful purple with blue vapors up in the sky, and of course you can see all the stars with several ships in orbit. Yeah, so S77 guides you to one of the larger, more ornate-looking buildings other than the palace. It is the amount of droids that are just hovering around, making sure that people are ushered in through the front door is astounding to you. You've never seen so many before. Every single person that's entering this place is dressed to the nines, wearing probably the most insane outfits you've ever seen. Most of the people here are human, but there are a few aliens here and there as well. No Duros, though. Sorry, Wynne.
I'm the only one.
That just makes you special.
Entering the front lobby of this museum, you see a lot of ornate statues, paintings, hollow pictures, and crazy-looking sculptures, some of which move seemingly on their own. You do see standing in the crowds of people here and there, several of the handmaidens just kind of keeping an eye on everything and watching, though you do not see the Queen of Naboo here. But you do see Ambassador Pola speaking with a bunch of dignitaries.
All right, well, Wynne casually starts to meander their way towards Ambassador Pola.
All right. And Lysander, I'm assuming you're following.
I mean, Lysander's like looking around at all the people, but when he sees Wynne is leaving, he's like, I guess I should follow Wynne.
Lysander, can you make a wisdom saving throw?
Oh, great. I wonder what's happening this time. Oh, cool. What is my modifier? Wisdom. It's a 22.
There is something almost in the back of your mind that is tugging you, and you start to hear very soft whispers. They don't really make any kind of particular words. It's just noises, and it's a lot of different whispers. But you feel pulled to a place deeper in this museum.
Lysander will look towards where Wynne is going and see he's going towards the ambassador, and then look around. And actually, he's like, Wynne will be fine. There's so many people here. I should be fine too if I wander off.
S77 is kind of standing there and is looking towards Wynne and Lysander and doesn't know where to go. And so you can hear Lysander, the droid, is following you.
I'm gonna try to lose the droid.
Okay, make a stealth roll.
I got a nat 20.
Ha ha!
Yeah, you go through like a crowd of people and easily slip by and walk out to the other end of the lobby and head deeper into the museum. You do hear for a brief moment S77 calling, Master Lysander, where did you go? And you leave. So when you approach Ambassador Pola, she appears to be speaking with a group of dignitaries. All of them dressed just like you, dressed to the nines. She looks over her shoulder and sees you approaching and smiles and nods in respect to you. Ah, Wynne. So good to see you.
Ambassador Pola, thank you so much for the invitation. I won't take up much of your time. We are very interested in seeing some of these artifacts, but I couldn't help but thank you for sending S1E31 to collect us and assisting in making sure we don't stand out and they glance around too much.
She raises her eyebrow at you and looks over at the dignitaries and nods to them and says, "If you'll excuse us for just a moment." And she gestures you to walk with her.
Wynne, again, assuming Lysander is right behind them, just sort of follows along with Pola and says, I'm very excited, The Battle of do you have anything from the Battle of Jedha? It is one of my favorite recent historical events. I was hoping for an Irami or Arano war droid, but unfortunately I don't think probably there's one here.
Yes, unfortunately, and I do use the word unfortunately, we have many artifacts from Jeddah because, as you know, the battle took quite a toll on many of its most precious and important landmarks.
Yeah, I don't know if they ever managed to get that statue of the Jedi back up again. I don't think they did.
No.
And I know the Temple of Kyber's never been the same afterwards.
Well, it's funny that you mention that.
Oh, really?
Indeed. Some of the reflection mirrors are actually here on display.
Oh, exciting. Lysander, why don't you go? And turns around and then stops. And just kind of deflates. Turns back to Paula and says, I don't know what I expected.
Well, it seems that your meeting with the Jedi went well. They've already left Naboo.
Oh, interesting. It went, when pauses, satisfactorily for all parties. I wouldn't say there's been a understanding, but we're on the same page for now.
Indeed. I do have some bad news for you, however. It seems that Gungan that has been looking for you has not been found yet. I was just speaking with some of the investigators from the Republic, and it seems that they have completely lost track of the Star Speeder.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's the thing about those star speeders with their interesting hyperdrives. They can just go anywhere. You never know where you're gonna end up if you get on one of those. Maybe they travel through time. Who knows?
I wouldn't know. Being a former handmaiden and now an ambassador, I don't fly commercial.
Lucky you.
Indeed. We do need to speak later, but I must, well, I'm on the clock, as they would say.
Apparently so am I, when nods their head respectfully and says thank you again for the invitation, as well as facilitating this evening. I'm going to go find Lysander. No doubt he's probably staring at some weird rod hidden in a back corner or something. I wonder if... Wynne kind of nods to the ambassador again and starts off muttering to themselves, I wonder if they have any artifacts from the Path Almshouse. Oh, or Enlightenment.
I myself am not familiar with everything that's being displayed, but I'm sure you could wander through the museum and see it for yourself.
I will track down Lysander and do that. Thank you so much again, Ambassador, and let me know if our Gungan friend decides to show himself.
I will, I promise you. You're safe here, Wynne.
Wynne quirks an eyebrow slightly, as if they're going to say something, and then simply nods their head and says, I have full confidence in the Naboo security force.
She smiles and nods.
Wynne also smiles, nods one more time, and walks off towards the exhibits. Their pace increasing slightly as they get further away.
Yeah, so Lysander, the museum is like a maze, and you're seeing all kinds of ancient artifacts on display. Most of them are stone statues or tablets, seemingly pieces of building that are just put up in glass casing or kind of hung up on the walls. But this voice and the whispers get louder and louder as you wander deeper. And there's not a lot of people in this part of the museum as you get to a certain point. It's just that most people are obviously here to socialize, not necessarily look around the museum. And so it's oddly quiet as you get to a certain point in the hallway where you approach a set of large stone double doors that are shut. And on the doors themselves, there's ancient writing and symbols of people holding either ancient lightsabers or old books, which is an unusual sight, I'm sure, in most of the Star Wars galaxy. But standing in front of this door, right in the middle, almost as if it would like prevent the doors from like being opened, is a single obsidian stone that stands at about 10 feet tall and is almost 3.5 feet wide. It is a well polished obsidian, almost a very glassy looking stone, and it just stands there. And make me an insight roll.
Alrighty. Insight. Where is my modifier? Frick. Well, I got a 5.
You don't notice anything other than that this stone looks very much out of place.
There's like no one around, right?
There is no one around.
I touched the stone.
It feels warm to the touch when you touch it.
That's weird.
And there's something about the shadows in the room or something like that, but you suddenly get the feeling that this stone is looking down at you.
And it's the only thing here besides like the big door behind it, right?
Right.
Lysander puts like both hands on the stone and kind of tries shaking it like, if I move this, will something happen? He also does like look around again like there's no cameras or anything, right?
Make a perception roll.
Perception. Got the 22 again.
No, you do not see any evidence of any cameras anywhere.
Cool.
But you kind of reach out and you try to shake the stone or whatever, but it's heavy. It doesn't really move at all.
What to do? Can I get around it to the door?
You can try.
Then...
Can you make me an acrobatics roll?
Okay. That's not great. That's a 6.
Yeah, so you assume this is going to be easy. You start to walk around this massive piece of obsidian stone, and then in the corner of your eye, you realize it moved, and it's standing kind of closer to the door now.
Lysander is like, that's weird. Stones don't move. He steps back away from it and kind of tries to go the other way, I guess.
Okay, can you make another acrobatics roll?
That's a 4.
Yeah, you try to move around it again, and again, it's definitely moving positions. And in the corner of your eye, you don't see it move, but when you look over at it, it has actually moved, adjusted slightly, so you can't go around it.
I don't appreciate this. This is definitely a rock, right? This isn't like a geode situation.
You're not sure.
Can... He places his hands on the the obelisk again, as if like trying to sense if there's like any life, if like this stone is alive.
You kind of open yourself up to that, and you don't know, you can't explain it, but you feel like it's asking you who are you?
And Lysander is just like, my name is Lysander. I don't know how to explain this, but I felt like something was calling out to me here. So that's why I'd very much appreciate it if you would let me through these big doors.
You kind of you blink briefly, and the stone suddenly moves like 5 feet over.
Oh, okay, thank you. And he, I guess, pushes the big doors, or like...
Yeah, they are heavy, so it does take a little bit of effort to try to push them open, but they do open. You enter a large circular chamber where there are ornate vases and statues lining the outside of it. In the center, there are 3 crystalline-looking objects. On each side of these objects, there is almost like a mirrored flat surface where you can actually see your reflection. And you feel like these are the 3 things that are calling to you.
Ooh. Okay, so he approaches, and again, like, looks around like, there's no one here, right? No one will see if I touch this.
It's empty. In fact, each step you make echoes in this chamber. And after you make a few steps in, you don't know why, but you get a feeling that the obsidian stone guarding the door closes the doors behind you.
When the doors close, Lysander does briefly panic, like, oh god, that was so hard to open. How am I gonna get out of here? But yeah, he approaches the ornate objects, and I guess we'll reach out and touch one.
You kind of walk in between the 3 of them, and you can see your reflection perfectly on each one of the 3. As you reach out and touch the one, the one on the left, the vision of the room starts to kind of blur a little bit, and you see an image of a younger you with your younger brother, and it's a starry night in your home world of Lysandra, and you remember this memory specifically. Your brother is asking you, as he points up to the stars up in the sky, and he asks you, has anyone ever been to all of those worlds before? Have they seen everything in the galaxy?
Lysander definitely would have responded, like, it's possible someone's been to all of them. She's like, I'd like to one day visit all of them.
I know. Your mom and dad worry about that about you. You're not going to leave me, are you?
Oh. Lysander, who's watching the younger version of himself, is like, oh no. Because the younger version of him is definitely like, of course not. Where would I even go anyway? Not like I can leave. I don't have a way to leave.
Well, if you do want to go, you should take me with you. I want to see everything too.
It's just, you're still pretty young, so maybe when you're older we can try.
And shortly after that, your parents' servant droid floats up to you all and simply says, "Supper is ready, and your parents are angry that you're still outside."
Yeah. Tell them we'll be in a bit.
I'm to escort you there now.
And Lysander will tell his younger brother to follow the droid, but he needs a moment.
The droid shakes its head and takes your younger brother and leaves you out by yourself in the field, looking at the stars.
And present Lysander is watching this like, like, why are you showing me this?
The image in that mirror fades away, and then the mirror in the center shows you again another image of Lysandra. It's one of your parent. Lysatra, sorry. Dyslexic brain, sorry.
That's
okay.
all right. Just it's Lysatra.
Your parents are having one of their parties. They're extremely boring, and you remember wanting to avoid them like the plague. It's the who's who of your neighbors, of the people you live near, visiting. They have this great big open balcony where they usually host at least the cocktail part of the party. It's another beautiful night, and you can see the moons of the planet hovering above. And as your father says, "Let us all make a toast." There is suddenly a comet that flies up into the sky, and it goes right through one of the moons, and you see that the moon just shatters and breaks apart and explodes, creating all this light into the sky. Everyone at the party looks up into the sky and screams and panics, and you see all this like fire and debris flying into the planet, and then that image ends.
Lysander's like, I don't remember that happening. Like, is that going to happen? What?
And then suddenly you feel very cold, and you sense a great amount of anger and guilt and resentment. And the mirror on the right shows you a shadowed image of something in slick black armor, a black cape with red trim, and wearing a black mask of some sort with a red visor. And this person speaking to you speaks in your voice, and it says to you, "It's our fault. It's your fault."
Lysander is just like, that can't possibly be true. None of that happened. That's a lie. That's not real.
It is real. I am your future. And you see that they pull something out. It's something like something cylinder shaped, and they flip a switch, and the light blade in red of a lightsaber activates.
No. Lysander backs away like, no. I would never become a Sith. How would that even happen?
There is no such thing as hope. There is no such thing as mercy. You've done this to yourself. We've done this to ourselves.
And Lysander is just like screaming at this point, like, no, you're lying, shut up.
Okay. Pause right there. Wynne, meanwhile, where are you going? Like you're
Hunting for S77 to presumably was the last person to see Lysander. I assume
Yeah,
this will not be hard since S77 is currently shouting across the crowd.
that's true. Yeah, S77 is doing just that. It's like, hello, Lysander, where did you go?
Hey. Shut the crick up for a second. Hey, hello. Focus, me, yes. Look into my large red eyes. I promise you cannot miss them. Where is
They
Lysander?
are quite large, yes.
Thank you. Where is Lysander?
I don't know. I'm sorry, Master Wynne. I lost them.
Yeah, that happens. Okay. We're going to find them. I need to think. I need to think for a moment. I will think in my brain. He's also large, but that has no bearing on intelligence. Are there any force-sensitive artifacts here?
Uh, force sensitive.
Yeah, radiate with the force, do weird force shit, and Wynn kind of lifts their hand and makes little sparkly fingers. You know, it's the magic hand thing.
Well, I suppose if any of the artifacts do have any kind of mystical meaning behind it, it would be the Kyber mirrors.
That's where Lysander is. Kyber mirrors, where are they?
Oh, yes. Can you make a perception roll?
Let me pull up my character sheet here. Remind me what the modifier for perception is?
It's a wisdom-based skill.
Wisdom-based skill. That is an 8.
When you feel something jab at your back, it is the unmistakable feeling of somebody ramming a pistol into your back. And you hear a voice, a very familiar voice says to you, "Well, look who's holding the pistol now."
Oh, hey, Irvin, buddy. How you doing? Wynn kind of puts their hands up slightly above waist level, so that the person can see that they're not reaching for their blaster. Everything's good? Great. So lovely to see you again. Well, I can't see you because I'm facing away from you, but
Yeah. Let's take a walk, my friend. We have much to discuss.
oh, I would love to. This is S77.
Hello.
S77 is going to lead us to a private part of the museum. Maybe the part where they keep the mirrors. I'm sure that's deserted.
Some privacy would be appreciated.
Fantastic. S77, if you wouldn't Wynn kind of angles themselves so S77 can't see the blaster in their back.
Yeah, S77 says, "Master Wynne, are you okay?"
Okay is a relative term. These things you let's just go. Let's go. All of us together. This is my very good friend Irvin. He's gonna come with us.
As you wish, Master Wynne. And S77 just turns around and starts waddling deeper into the museum. Well, everybody, that's this week's episode. I supersized it for y'all since we missed a week. Also, I just really wanted to get to a particular part, which I hope you certainly enjoyed, because clearly Wynne and Lysander are in danger. As always, y'all, thank you so much for listening to our show. We really appreciate the audience we built. We really appreciate the support. If you want to hang out with us between episodes, we're on Twitter at For Light and Dice. Also, we have a Discord. That's right, a Discord. Free to access. You can hang out with us and our other cool listeners. It's a pretty cool little Discord community we have building there, so definitely join us if you want to hang out with us. Massive credit goes to Grushkov, who has given us all the rights to use their music. If y'all aren't listening to Grushkov's music, you really should. They've built a great library of different music inspired by the High Republic and other Star Wars stuff. Definitely recommend check them out. And also a special shout out to folks who've been reaching out to me and giving me all the positive feedback about the show. It's really flattering that we've been doing this game now for over half a year, and the show itself is just taking kind of a life of its own, and it's been a privilege doing this with everybody else on the show, and I can't wait for y'all to hear the future episodes. Anyway, y'all, thank you so much, and as always, may the Force be with you.